Another tip I have for you is don't get distracted by petty human shit. There's a lot of pettiness, human stuff. I put human sort of in quotes, human stuff in business and human affairs that most of the people around you are involved in. Gossip and politics and who did what to whom and who's a victim and who's the victimized and who's the victimizer and who started a war and who's fighting who and who's judging who and who's being mean to who and who did what to who killed who, and like, that's all horseshit. There's no satisfaction in playing these games. Who slept with who? Who's the most famous person today? Who's more famous tomorrow? Who has more money today? Who has more money tomorrow? This is the pettiness of human affairs. Ground yourself in something beyond that, something metaphysical, spiritual, existential. Try to imagine, for example, what your life would be like if you were the only human alive on the planet and there were no other humans. You see how that cuts out so much bullshit? All the gossip and all the trying to be like everybody else and trying to be social and doing all the social bullshit games that people do, going to dinner parties and trying to please each other and trying to dress up a certain way and trying to earn awards and trying to please their boss, and like all of that gets cut away. What's life about like in that case when you cut all of that petty human bullshit away? It's so easy to get distracted by that. Society and culture will constantly keep distracting you by this human petty bullshit, trying to convince you that it's important. It's not important at all. You need to block that stuff out. Don't get distracted by it. Keep your eye on the ball. Focus on your vision. Focus on what you want to create with your life. Focus on growing yourself to be a stronger human being. So when people are in the streets rioting, you're at home working on your vision. When people are bullshitting about politics, you're at home working on developing yourself. You're sitting there reading a book. You're sitting there contemplating and introspecting. When people are going to some dinner party, trying to impress each other and trying to, brown nose to whoever is running the dinner party to get their favors and stuff like that, and building political connections, you're sitting at home and you are working on your life purpose. You're building your business. You're investing in yourself. You're meditating. You're contemplating and doing this sort of stuff. Don't pay too much attention to what the herd around you is doing. They're not doing anything profound. They're engaged in surface level activity that's going to pay them very little dividends, and it's going to produce very little satisfaction for them. All this petty human business. Don't overload your schedule with a bunch of commitments and obligations, especially when you're young. Don't tie yourself up too much. Leave room for the inner work that you got to be doing. Leave room for solitude. Leave empty time in your schedule where you can sit and meditate, contemplate, self-reflect, read a book. Plan out your life. Vision. Dream. Imagine stuff. Work on some side project. Be creative. Because if you're running around all the time just doing petty chores and socializing and just doing nonstop work like business and trying to socialize with your friends and to please them, and your schedule simply doesn't have enough time for you to really go inward to listen to yourself, to find the deep answers. And that's another point that we need to underscore here, is that the deepest answers to life are not found in books or from other people. They're found inside yourself in moments of solitude and deep self-reflection. Make time for solitude. Make time where you can just sit for an entire day with no obligations, no chores, no socializing, no work, no entertainment, no distractions, no internet, no social media, no phone calls, and just sit in solitude and think about life. Listen to your heart, listen to your highest self, listen to your creative inspirations and passions. Discover yourself in these moments. And really, a single day is not even enough. You need to do retreats. You need to be able to carve out an entire week in your schedule, at least once a year. Carve out 7 or 10 days where you can be in total solitude by yourself, secluded in meditation, in contemplation, in visioning, in thinking about your life, self-reflecting, doing the inner work. That's where the real work happens. Not out there in the world when you're in the office in the cubicle, punching away at the keyboard. That's not where the real work happens. But most people are so busy that they don't make this time for solitude. And their life reflects that. Their life isn't deep. They're living life at the surface. Don't waste your time hating, fighting, judging, criticizing, blaming others. Negativity, or trying to control others. This is a huge trap. The trap of trying to control other people. Say no to this. Have no desire to control anybody else but yourself. Have no desire to be telling others from some righteous position how they are wrong and what they're doing is bad and evil and it could be done better, and then blaming them for things. No, that's all bullshit and distraction. Rather, focus on what you need to do to be creative in your life. Then you're never going to be negative because you're going to feel empowered. You feel like a victim and you feel disempowered when you're not being creative. But when all of your time and energy is focused on inner work, making yourself more creative, more passionate, growing yourself, investing in yourself, becoming more spiritual. When you're doing this, you have no time and room for negativity, blaming, criticizing, judging, fighting, hating. It's all pointless. It's a distraction. And you have no desire to control or manipulate anybody else, because then you become self-reliant. You don't need to control somebody else or manipulate them to get you something that you can get yourself by turning inwards. And anything important that's of any real value in life, you can generate for yourself. You don't need to control or manipulate somebody else to give it to you. So why play those games? Go directly to the source. Generate it yourself. Create it yourself. People invent all sorts of ideologies and political philosophies that are just based on negativity and blame and criticism. People start entire YouTube channels and entire careers based on criticizing and hating on others. They create entire identities out of fighting against conservatives or liberals or this or that. While they're doing all that, they're neglecting the most important thing. They're taking their eye off the ball. What are you going to create for the world that's positive? How are you going to grow yourself? When you're busy growing yourself, you don't have time for these distractions. You don't care what others are doing around you because they can't stop you. You're too powerful. You're too creative. You don't need their approval. You don't care about their criticism because you're going full steam ahead.